process of becoming vegged out. Now what that means is I am transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet in order to improve my health, lose a little bit of weight, and also help with my anxiety. I'm currently lacto-ovo vegetarian, and I like to say I'm an aspiring vegan because that's ultimately where I'd like to land. I also like to say I'm a wannabe YouTuber, so, because I'm just doing this for fun. But anyway, before I get into today's video, I just wanted to give a shout out to someone who helped me out tremendously. I've only posted 2 videos. They were both like 2 months ago. I started losing a little bit of confidence and a little bit of steam with where I was going with my channel, and honestly, if anyone really was even gonna watch, and I just kind of like bummed myself out and almost completely gave up. But this is something I'm passionate about, as you'll learn later on as videos go on. I do have a passion for health and nutrition. I'm even a certified health coach, which I can go into that later as well. So it's definitely something I'm really passionate about. So I just couldn't let it lie. So instead of stressing myself out, I decided to reach out to somebody. I watch her quite a bit. I've been watching her for the past few months. She has awesome videos, awesome content, super easy, attainable recipes, and just makes this whole food plant-based thing look easy. And that is Miranda Running on Plants. She's awesome. Her content is great. Her channel is great. She just seems like an awesome person all the way around. And whenever you comment, she comments back. So that actually goes a long way and really means a lot. So I decided to reach out to her on Instagram yesterday and just ask for a little bit of advice, just to kind of get over the block, get through the hump, you know, get my confidence up a little bit. And she responded and gave me some great advice. So thank you so much, Miranda. It's truly, truly, truly appreciated. You have no idea. So if you guys haven't checked out her video or her YouTube channel, you absolutely have to. She's fantastic. Even if you're not whole food plant-based, there's still some really great ideas and things to try anyway. So please, please, please go check her out. So in today's video, I just want to tell you a little bit about who I am, why I'm doing this, where I want to go with my channel, and yeah, just kind of take you along on the path that I have chosen to take. Especially being a homeschooling mom and the only vegetarian in the house. So I just kind of wanted to show you what that looks like. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can. I tend to get a bit blabby, but I'm just, you know, I just want to have you get to know me a little bit and let you know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it, I guess. But before I get into that, a few disclaimers. One, I really don't like the word journey. So you might see me hesitate a few times because I'm trying to think of another word for journey. Like path or evolution or road or something. We'll see. And 2, oh, and that's not to say that anyone that uses the word journey is wrong. I just personally don't like it. So that's that. Anyway, and 2, I'm in my living room right now because I really liked the ambiance of the tree. So I thought it'd be a good backdrop, but I have an overweight beagle who you can really hear as he's walking around on some of our hardwood floors. And I have 2 kids upstairs. So you might hear some weird background noises, and I'm pretty sure in the intro, my chubby beagle was laying by me snoring. I didn't catch it, but my daughter did, so we'll see. So if you hear any weird noises, hopefully it doesn't drown me out, but that's where we're at. So let me see where to start. I've actually had a really hard time even sitting down to film this video because I think just being vulnerable is it's just hard in general. And I'm not gonna get like super deep or anything like that, but anytime I sat down, I think it's a lot easier to like make a video of what you're making for dinner rather than sitting down and telling somebody about yourself. So I've stopped and started this a lot. I haven't written anything down. I have no idea where this is going. So we'll just see what happens. Oh, and there's a dog clicking right there. It's not my chubby beagle, it's my other dog, but still. Okay, so let me try to back up a little bit as far as why I've started doing this. I've always been fascinated with food, as weird as that sounds. But I mean, food is culture. Food can be an expression of love. Food is like why people gather, you know, aside the fact that you need sustenance, right? And you need to be able to live. But I've always been fascinated with food. I've always loved food. I've always appreciated other cultures and the different types of foods that they share. And I just love it. But at a very young age, I remember this summer where I went vegetarian with my mom, and we experimented with a whole bunch of different foods, and I think that's when I tried hummus for the first time and all this stuff. And I remember really, really, really liking it. I remember at just a really young age too. I think I was like 11, and it was by my choice that I wanted to do that. I just remember feeling really good. And I kind of went back and forth for many, many, many years. Nothing ever like super stuck until after I had my daughter. She's my youngest. She's 10, going to be 11 years shortly. And I think I went vegetarian for like a whole year. And doesn't sound like much, but when you've grown up a certain way and you're trying to feed your family and, you know, you've got 2 kids and all this other stuff, I think that's like a pretty good achievement. Nowadays, it's so hard to stick to that way, to a different way of eating than like the standard American diet, because it's becoming more normalized, but it's still the unpopular thing to do. And this is from what I'm gathering, you know, because certain restaurants and things like that and grocery stores are definitely more vegetarian friendly now than they were then, but sometimes it's still hard for a vegetarian to get a good meal that you don't have to cook. So I think a year is like, you know, it was a good run. But during that time, well, no, maybe not during that time. After that, I started going to online nutrition school. And one of the reasons, besides just loving food, that I really kind of got into nutrition is after I had both my kids. I've got a son and a daughter. Then I noticed like I had some acid reflux, and I didn't grow up learning much about nutrition. So it wasn't like, oh, I need to check my food, you know, why am I burning so much while I'm eating salty crackers? But also I think it's when I started looking at certain things that were happening to my son that I started thinking, maybe this is diet related. He started getting really bad headaches at a really young age. He started getting headaches, I think, at about like 3 and a half, something like that, to the point where you'd have to put him in a dark room or he'd throw up or something. It was bad. The poor baby got migraines. And so I started looking at, I did talk to the doctor a little bit about it, but I started looking at some of the things he was eating. And a lot of little kids, and my kid was no exception, loves juice. And we would water it down, but this kid would slam juice cup after juice cup after juice cup and like slam it like he's, at a bar or something. And so, I was like, well, and he would eat fruit snacks and things like that. All the things that like we think are good for our kids, and I was no different, So I was like, let's start looking at some of the foods he's eating. Let's start reducing some of the sugar. And that was kind of like intuitive for me. So then I was like, I noticed that it was working. And Then I started making some changes in my life, you know, noticing some things like acid reflux or whatever that I didn't love about my health and wanting to improve that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And that's when it clicked for me, as crazy as it sounds, that food's medicine. And because again, that's not the way I was raised. Food is something you eat and then you move on, and that's about it. Or food, in some cases, food is something that you withhold from yourself to lose weight, and then that's just how it is. Wrong thinking completely, but that again, kind of how I grew up and where my mind went. So I started health coaching school online, and I think that was in like 2013 or something like that. And I really, really, really liked it, really connected with it. And I'll get into it more later in another video, just in depth about my path with homeschooling, or oh my gosh, with homeschooling, no, health coaching. We'll talk about homeschooling later. With health coaching and the highs, the lows, the struggles, the expectations I had, what actually happened, all that stuff, and where I want to go with that in the future. But I learned a lot, I do have to say. I learned a lot from health coaching school and improved my health dramatically. We were learning over 100 different dietary theories, and so I was kind of playing around with each one because that was fun for me. I did lose a bunch of weight. I did feel excellent. I was like off caffeine and all this other stuff, and energy through the roof. But after health coaching school stopped, then it's like my support system was gone and things kind of fell apart and fell off the rails. Then again, I'll kind of get into that in a later time, but I was kind of struggling with some other things, some self-confidence, and kind of like what I described at the beginning of this video with this channel. It's putting myself out there again. It's trying to build something based on a passion that I have, and I'm afraid to fail, kind of. That's pretty much what it boils down to. So that's kind of what happened with health coaching. And there were also some things I didn't fully agree with, but I wasn't quite sure where my niche was, where I fit in it. And do you notice the pattern? Still haven't grown out of that one. And I didn't really know where to take it or how to make it my own and make a program that people were going to connect with. So I got into a little bit of, you know, a bummer mood about that too. And I knew there were still some other like things I needed to work on within myself. So I found intuitive eating. And again, that's something intuitively that I know. That's what we all know, because you know, when you eat, you just need to eat something that tastes good, makes you feel good, gives you nourishment, also gives you pleasure, and you move on. But when you have like a diety brain, sometimes it's not that easy. So you have to teach yourself what you were actually born knowing. And again, we can talk about that another time too, but I kind of then went like completely off the rails with eating anything healthy. And so over time, I started feeling a little bit more sluggish. I started gaining some weight, which I tried not to worry about numbers too much, but I do like to keep them in check. For me personally, I would like to be in a healthy weight range for my body, because I'm already down 18.5 pounds since August, and I can feel it. Like I can physically feel the difference. But as I discovered intuitive eating, I also discovered body positivity and more like self-love and things like that. And when I first discovered these things, I was like, oh, cool. Like that gives me permission to exist, which it does, and it's fantastic. But I think what I needed was to sit in that permission to exist for a little bit first, before I started changing things. And if you ever check out the intuitive eating book, which I should have brought that here, I can link it below, and so you guys can check that out if you haven't. It's definitely a must read. It talks about, you know, letting yourself explore the foods that you were once withholding from yourself, whether that's packaged foods or junk foods or whatever. Explore those foods, but then also when you get to a point when you're ready, then you can explore gentle nutrition, and that's fully nourishing yourself, using, you know, more like fresh foods and things like that, and really making yourself feel good. But what's so great about intuitive eating is it brings all of it together, and it can be a process. It's not something that takes like, it's not like a year plan and then you've got it. I've been working on intuitive eating and body positivity and all of that for, gosh, probably at least 5 years, at least. And now I feel like I'm at the point where I'm ready for that gentle nutrition. And when I started noticing, like, I don't know, I thought to myself one day, wow, I can't remember the last time I had an apple. And that's kind of a terrible thought, but I allowed myself to have that time. But there was one day where I was just like, man, I just don't feel good in my body. I feel uncomfortable. My clothes are tight. I'm not as confident as I want to be, and I don't want to just push it aside. I want to do something about it for myself. We moved to North Carolina here just about 2 years ago. We were originally in Illinois, and super flat, and then you get to North Carolina and it's beautiful mountains, and the house that we bought is like up on a hill, so our driveway is up on a hill, and I didn't want to huff and puff every time I came back from the mailbox. So, you know, then I started like slowly incorporating some fresher foods, we'll say, into my diet, and just noticing the way that I feel, really being in tune with my body and what's working, what's not, and just kind of taking inventory. You know, it's not a diet, it's taking inventory of how I'm feeling, what things I'm consuming, and what's working for me and what's not. So then after I started doing that, then it was like a light bulb. I have so many light bulb moments. It was seriously was like, oh my gosh, this is the gentle nutrition part that intuitive eating talks about, and I've gotten here finally. You know, everyone's race is their own. I guess it's not even a race. Everyone's path. Really trying hard not to say journey, but everyone's path is their own. And some people can take to whatever they're working on, whether it's intuitive eating or whatever, really quickly. Other people, it takes a little bit longer. And for me, I've just had to work through some kinks. I've had to, you know, just work on myself and give myself permission, one, to exist as I am. And also the second one is give myself permission to like not take away any foods, not withhold anything from myself. Then naturally your body's like, okay, let's get into a different rhythm now. Let's do these things to feel a little bit better. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And I went back to all the times that I dabbled with vegetarianism, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos with people that are following a whole food plant-based diet. I even have the book, The Starch Solution by Dr. McDougall, which is fantastic. I've been following a lot of the works of Dr. Greger, and you can find him on nutritionfacts.org. He's got a lot of really awesome science-backed information on the foods that we should be eating, or the foods for optimum health. And I've been giving myself a lot of grace, and I've been eating more whole foods, and I've just decided, like, I think I'm gonna go vegetarian first. I do, because of my background with health coaching school, and we were learning so many different dietary theories, I like to play around with a lot of different things to then see what fits best for me and kind of design my own plan. So that's what's happening right now, and I'm letting myself have the time to explore these things and not be super rigid. Because if I'm rigid about something, forget it. It's gonna go down the tubes. I'm gonna go off the rails, and then I'll, like, I don't know, just totally go the other direction. And it just will be the opposite of all of the goals I'm trying to accomplish. So I think in August of this year, halfway through August, I decided I was gonna be a vegetarian. And My husband is super supportive of every single thing that I do. And I couldn't be a luckier wife to have such a supportive partner in my life. So he's definitely extremely supportive and tries to help me in any way that he can. And I don't push the way I eat on anybody else. But when I make something, you know, sometimes I do make like a meatless meal a week or whatever that we can all enjoy, so I don't have to feel like I need to struggle and make 2 meals all the time. Oh, I lost my train of thought. That's fun. So anyway, you know, that started in August, and I slowly have just been building on that and just figuring out the direction I want to go, which ultimately is to be whole food, plant-based, oil-free, vegan. That's the direction I want to go, 100%. I'm just giving myself the grace and the time to get there. So since August, so we're in what, December now? I have lost about 18.5 pounds. I have a goal to lose about 50 in total, and however long that takes me is however long that takes me. Again, I'm not going to get super hung up on the numbers, but I do weigh myself to make sure that the things I'm doing are working, and taking inventory on how well I'm feeling and getting back in touch with my hunger and fullness cues and all that good stuff. So that's a bit of word vomit about where I'm at. Where I started nutritionally, I guess, to where I'm at right now. Just a bit of an overview. We can get into more of this stuff later as it comes up, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of my background. So as I had mentioned earlier, I'm born and raised in Illinois, and 2 years ago this month, this week actually, we moved here to North Carolina. We picked up our family and we moved out here. And wouldn't change it for the world. It's been amazing. This place is beautiful. We absolutely, absolutely love it. And I am married to my best friend. We've been married for 14 years. And we have 2 kids. We have a 14-year-old son and a soon-to-be 11-year-old daughter. She turns 11 in January. And they're all omnivores. I'm the only vegetarian in this house. Oh, and when we moved here to North Carolina, we decided to homeschool. And that's always been something I guess, in the back of my mind. We originally thought about homeschooling our son when he was tiny. We talked about it in depth. And then we heard many great things about the school system that we were in. So we're like, hey, let's give it a shot. And they stayed in public school until we moved out here to North Carolina. North Carolina has an awesome homeschool community. And it's just the homeschooling numbers, I mean, especially now with COVID, the homeschooling numbers just keep going up and up and up and up and up. So there are a lot of really great resources. So that's ultimately why we decided to stick with it. So I've got a lot going on here in my world. You know, I'm back to being a stay-at-home mom. I'm homeschooling the kids, and we're all trying to figure that out together. And then I throw another thing into the mix because, you know, after a while you get bored, right? So now I'm taking on this new challenge of doing something for myself. I think, and that honestly, it sounded funny at first, but it really is a challenge. Especially moms, I feel like, and if you're a stay-at-home mom, your kids require a lot of you, and you kind of feel guilty. I'm generalizing here, but I'm hoping this connects with somebody. Sometimes you can feel guilty for doing something for yourself, and this is one of those things that I ultimately is just like, I really want to do this for myself. It makes me feel good. It's something that's mine, as silly as that sounds. And if one of my family members wants to join in that with me, that's awesome. But I, by no means, will push that on anybody. So this was a huge act of self-care for me, because now I'm throwing in, you know, yes, homeschooling and homemaking and all of that, and then doing this thing for myself. My path, the road to becoming fully plant-based. And it really has made me feel good. It's really gotten me excited about food again. It's gotten me excited about cooking. I love being creative in the kitchen and trying to take a recipe that I've made many, many, many times over for my family and changing that and adapting that in a tasty way for myself. And my daughter gets on board a lot, and she wants to try a lot of the things that I'm eating, and everyone does, really. They try it. They've been super supportive. I cannot have asked for a better family. But so yeah, everyone's been super supportive. It's been great. Whenever I talk about my family, I get all teary because I just love them. I'm gonna, try really hard not to do that right now. But so it is a huge act of self-care, and there are times I want to throw in the towel. There are times where I've looked at my husband and said, is this stupid? Should I even be doing this? And he's like, I see how you are. Like, I see how this lights you up and how excited you get about it. Yes, keep doing it. He's even encouraged me to start this YouTube channel because I'm like, who's even gonna watch? Who cares about what I'm eating as I'm sitting and watching everyone's what I eat in a day videos? So there's a market, people care. But he's like, who cares if no one watches? Even when I was messaging with Miranda, running on plants on Instagram yesterday, both of them said the same thing. Who cares if no one's watching? Like, you're doing this for you. And I am. I'm taking that step and I'm doing something for myself. And even if this just turns out to be a video diary of the progress I'm making and all these healthy changes I'm making and where I started to where I end up, that's a win. So anyway, the challenges with doing this are that I primarily cook for the family, and I'm trying to eat a certain way and feed them another way. But I do introduce the things that I'm eating to my family, and I do try really hard to implement at least one meatless meal a week that the whole family can eat and that everyone is happy eating. So that actually lightens the load a bit for me too. So I'm gonna kind of stop there, but I just want to let you know a little bit of where I want to go with this channel. Like, what are some of the things that you're going to be seeing? And some of them, yeah, might be what I'm eating today, giving you my what I eat in a day. You can also follow me over on Instagram. I'm going to try really hard to be more active on there. I have a really hard time with like chronicling my life because I just want to live it. And even though now I'm doing this, I just want to live it. So sometimes I forget, like, ooh, that probably would have been Instagram worthy, or that would have been a good what I eat in a day video or recipe video or whatever. So I have to kind of retrain my brain and find the balance. The, hobby, YouTube hobby, life, family balance. But yeah, so I might share some recipes, like if I successfully made something that my family loved, or that I converted a recipe that is heavily meat-based and made it a vegetarian or a vegan recipe. You might see some of that. Some days I might just talk about like my headspace and where I'm at and how this diet has helped my anxiety. Because it's not just about the food. We learned in health coaching school that there are like primary foods and secondary foods. Your primary foods aren't actually the foods that you put in your mouth. Your primary foods are the things like friendships, spirituality, what hobbies and interests you have, like what lights you up and sets your soul on fire, and what are the things that make you truly happy. And then your secondary foods are the foods that you put in your body. And so I might talk about that sometimes because, again, it's not just about the food. I used to get so frustrated when I was trying to find clients that it was like, I don't just want to sit and talk about your food. Like, don't come to me and tell me how you want to lose weight. Yet here I am wanting to lose weight. But it really starts with the mind first, and it starts with your spirit, and it starts with all of these like mindset shifts, and it just really, truly, as corny as it sounds, does start from within. Absolutely. So there might be some times I'm talking about that. There might be some videos where, as much as I would really love just to get everything from the produce section, I'm a busy mom that has to also cook for her family. So like last night I doctored up a can of soup and had a biscuit with it or something. So there might be some times where I'm showing you some of the products that I really, really love from the grocery store that make life easier for me, that taste really good, that make me feel really good, and just help me out. Where I can make myself a meal, eat it and enjoy it and move on. So yeah, I mean, who knows? There might be other things that show up on this channel, but that's where I'm at right now. Sorry if this was hard to follow and if it's a bit of a jumbled mess. I did not outline anything because I wanted it to like come out as natural and as normal as possible, and this is who I am. So yeah, I really hope that you guys hang in there with me and follow, gosh, I don't want to say the journey, but if you would like to follow the evolution, the path, the road, whatever you want to call it, and if you do want to use the term journey, that's okay too. Subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram, and yeah, we can do this thing together. I hope that there are some things that you guys can connect with and resonate with, because it's always much more fun to do major, I guess, life changes or hit goals or whatever when you've got someone in your corner that's right there with you, that's supporting you and doing it too. So that's what I'm really hoping to be for somebody. And ultimately, I'm here to kind of support myself too, I guess. Like I talked about, like this really helps me light the fire to keep going and just be myself and do what I do and put it out there to see if anyone else enjoys it. And if not, that's okay too. But I'm going to end this here. I'm gonna stop blabbing. I'm gonna try really hard to be consistent. That was actually my word for this year, consistency. And I would really, my goal is to post like once a week. So if you have anything that you would like to see, let me know. I know it's still pretty early on in my channel, but if there's anything that you would like to see, just comment below and let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week with something. We'll see what happens. Oh, I did make a really yummy coffee recipe I might show you guys. I love peppermint mocha, so I made a vegan peppermint mocha. Super excited about it. So that might be one of the things that I show you. Anyway, going off on a tangent. I was gonna make this short. It turned out being 30 minutes. So if you are here this long and you have made it to the end, bless you. Thank you very much. But I am going to officially wrap it up here. So if you like what you've seen and heard me babble on and you want to see more, please don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me over on Instagram, and I think that's about it. So I'm gonna sign off here today, and I leave you with peace, love, and veggies. See you next time.